Cleveland FBI investigating tonight after a man's body was found in the woods near Cuyahoga Valley National Park. Now investigators are searching for his killer.
A young musician steps out of a lively Cleveland bar, excited to meet a woman from his past. He climbs into her car, unaware that this will be the last action of his life. Days later, hikers stumble upon his body in the remote woods of Cuyahoga Valley National Park. A single bullet in the back of his head. And the killer? A Coast Guard veteran turned OnlyFans model, driven by a 4-year-old grudge from a Virginia Beach accusation that never saw justice. What unfolds is a chilling tale of revenge, meticulous planning, and a staged suicide note that almost fooled the investigators. From DNA under fingernails to a 9mm pistol hidden in a purse, the evidence paints a damning picture. But the tragedy doesn't end there. Dunmire's mother, consumed by grief, spirals into her deadly quest for answers. Stay with us as we unravel the twisted path that led to the murder of Matthew Dunmire. On a crisp spring morning, hikers tread the scenic trail of Cuyahoga Valley National Park near the Terra Vista Cemetery. In a secluded off-trail wooded area, they make a grim discovery. A man's body, lifeless, with a single gunshot wound to the back of his head. An Aquafina water bottle lies nearby, glinting in the sunlight, a seemingly mundane item that will soon become a cornerstone of this investigation. An autopsy confirms the cause of death: homicide by a 9mm bullet. The body is identified as Matthew John Dunmire, a 31-year-old aspiring musician from Cleveland. Originally from Virginia Beach, Virginia, Dunmire had moved to Ohio to rebuild his life. A free spirit with a passion for music, he worked at a local screen printing shop where co-workers like Jamie Magiaros described him as someone who always seemed so happy and could brighten anyone's day. His best friend, Andrew Murphy, called him selfless, always putting others first. Dunmire had children back in Virginia and was striving to overcome personal challenges, including alcohol use. Just a week before his death, he told Magiaros he was excited about his progress, feeling he had his whole life ahead of him. His uncle, Dan Dunmire, later said, "If you ever met him, you wouldn't even think this kid could harm a flea." Yet someone had targeted Matthew with chilling precision. The murder on federal land draws the FBI and National Park Service into a high-stakes investigation. Authorities start by reconstructing Matthew Dunmire's final days. On March the 5th, 2021, he was at Tiki Underground, a Hudson bar with co-workers. He told them he was meeting a woman from out of town, someone he'd connected with online. A witness saw him leave with a brown-haired woman in a white smart car bearing Virginia plates. Investigators zeroed in on this car, traced through license plate readers and surveillance footage. It was registered to the husband of Chelsea Perkins, a 31-year-old Coast Guard veteran from Arlington, Virginia. Perkins, originally from Virginia Beach like Dunmire, had a complex life. A former service member, she transitioned to a career as an OnlyFans model and adult film actress under the pseudonym Selena Savage. Married to a Coast Guardsman with whom she had 2 young children, Perkins lived in Arlington at the time of the murder, but later relocated to Pensacola in Florida. Her social media presence was active, with cryptic posts hinting at a darker intent, including one that read, "Dead men tell no tales." In 2017, she accused Dunmire of SA in Virginia Beach, an allegation dismissed for insufficient evidence, fueling a grudge that would resurface years later. The forensic evidence that investigators start compiling against her is meticulous and damning. GPS data from Dunmire's phone places him with Perkins at an Airbnb she rented in Cleveland's University Circle on March the 5th, where they spent the night. The next morning, March the 6th, the same GPS data tracks them to the Terra Vista National Study Area, where hikers reported hearing a gunshot between 11:30 and 11:50 a.m. DNA analysis reveals Perkins' genetic material under Dunmire's fingernails, on his pubic hair, and on the Aquafina bottle found at the crime scene, which also carries Dunmire's DNA. This confirms close physical contact shortly before his death. A search of Perkins' Arlington home on March the 30th uncovers 3 9mm pistols, one tucked in a purse with her ID. Ballistic testing matches this gun to the bullet in Dunmire's head, with unique striation marks linking the firearm to the crime. The bullet's trajectory, straight through the back of the skull, suggests an execution-style killing, and not a struggle. Digital forensics uncover Perkins' premeditation. A week before the murder, she messaged an Instagram user calling Dunmire a walking turd and stating he will get his someday. On March the 3rd, Dunmire sent her a Facebook friend request, which she accepted, initiating contact. A pre-written note on her phone, intended to stage the scene as a suicide, reads, "If you are reading this, it is too late. I'm sorry I beat you and I raped a couple of chicks years ago. I'm a shitty person and paid for my sins with blood. I've decided to leave this cruel world. Sorry I didn't warn you first." After the murder, Perkins deleted her Facebook messages with Dunmire and unfriended him, a clear attempt to erase her digital trail. Surveillance footage and turnpike records further revealed her calculated movements. She drove over 300 miles from Virginia to Cleveland and booked the Airbnb with her credit card. After the shooting, she traveled to Michigan for a tattoo, messaging her artist that she'd make her stop first in Cleveland. Hikers in the park described a woman matching Perkins' appearance, wearing all black clothing, including knee-high boots and a hoodie, looking confused and emotionless, claiming she was searching for a cemetery. The forensic picture is clear. DNA places Perkins with Dunmire at the scene. Ballistics tie her gun to the murder, and digital evidence reveals her intent and cover-up. The 2017 SA allegation, dismissed by Virginia Beach prosecutors, emerges as the motive, with Perkins' own words suggesting a revenge-driven act. 9 months after the murder, the FBI apprehended Chelsea Perkins in Pensacola, Florida, where she had moved with her family. She faces charges of first-degree murder, second-degree murder, and using a firearm during a crime of violence on federal property. The case is built on an ironclad foundation. DNA under Dunmire's fingernails and on the water bottle, ballistic matches from her pistol, GPS and surveillance tracking her movements, and her own incriminating messages. The pre-written suicide note and deleted digital communications reveal a calculated attempt to mislead investigators, pointing to premeditation rooted in a 4-year-old grievance. In a February 1, 2022 detention hearing, FBI Special Agent Gregory Craig lays out the evidence. These are the forensic findings and Perkins' 2017 rape allegation against Dunmire, which Virginia Beach Police dismissed due to insufficient evidence. Perkins' attorneys hinted a self-defense claim, suggesting her actions stemmed from trauma related to the unprosecuted assault. But the execution-style gunshot, the remote location and the fake suicide note undermine this narrative. The forensic evidence, particularly the DNA and ballistics matches, leaves little room for doubt. By March 2024, prosecutors offer Perkins a plea deal, 27 to 31 years in prison to avoid a potential life sentence for first-degree murder. She rejects it, risking a trial, and her defense prepares to argue provocation or diminished capacity, leaning on the 2017 allegation. Her defense prepares to argue provocation or diminished capacity, leaning on the 2017 allegation, but the overwhelming evidence, DNA, ballistics, GPS, and her own words, makes a trial victory unlikely. Just days before her trial, on May 27, 2025, Chelsea Perkins makes a stunning decision. Facing a mountain of evidence, she pleads guilty to second-degree murder and using a firearm during a crime of violence. The plea, entered before U.S. District Judge Solomon Oliver, acknowledges the strength of the prosecution's case. If accepted, Perkins faces 20 to 25 years in prison, with credit for over 3 years served since her 2021 arrest. Her sentencing is scheduled for September 9, 2025, bringing a somber resolution to a case driven by vengeance. Matthew Dunmire's murder leaves a trail of devastation. His mother, Tommy Lynn Dunmire, heartbroken by her son's death, embarked on a misguided quest for justice. In November 2021, she mistakenly shot an unrelated woman in Washington, D.C., believing her to be involved before taking her own life during a police stop. Her partner, John McQuillan, served 3.5 years as an accessory and was released in March 2025. Chelsea Perkins, once a Coast Guard veteran with a promising future, now awaits decades behind bars, her life unravelling after a grudge from an unprosecuted 2017 allegation. This case, marked by betrayal and loss, leaves us questioning whether justice could have prevented such a tragic chain of